Everybody thinks they have an idea of New York from all the movies and TV shows they've seen.
But when we think of New York, we think of much more than that.
To us, New York is the most cosmopolitan and exciting city in the world.
The best way to make the most of the city is to keep exploring and to keep your eyes and ears open for new things. I'm Caitlin Leffel, and I was born and raised right here in Manhattan.
And I'm Jacob Lehman. I moved to New York from London nearly 10 years ago, and together we wrote a book called The Best Things to Do in New York City.
And this is our New York City.
When you say the words Red Hook, the first thing that pops into the minds of most New Yorkers is IKEA.
But IKEA isn't the only thing that's going on in Red Hook, not by a long shot.
Now, Red Hook isn't easy to get to. It's cut off from the rest of Brooklyn by the BQE, and even though you can get there on the subway, it's about a 20-minute walk from the nearest F4G train station.
But Red Hook does have one thing going for it that other areas of the city don't have in terms of transportation, and that's the water. From the waterfront bike paths to this water taxi, the water really opens up an area that's not well served by other parts of the New York City transit system.
Once you get off the water taxi at IKEA, you just have to walk a few blocks along the waterfront to find yourself in the heart of the real Red Hook, which is a neighborhood with one of the strongest community spirits in all of Brooklyn.
Behind us is Fairway, a huge grocery store that people from all over the city come and do their shopping at. But if you walk a few steps more this way, you'll come to something even more surprising, the Red Hook Waterfront Museum.
So here we are floating off the coast of Red Hook at the Waterfront Museum with its curator, David. How long has it been here? How long have you been here?
The barge was built in 1914, and I came across it sunk in 1985. I found it up in the mud flats of Edgewater, New Jersey, where it had been sunk for about 7 years. And I bought it for $1 off of a pile driver. And I came along with my dollar and a dream, and here we are 25 years later. Some of our fun things are our models that we have. The barge model that you see there is a hold barge. There's a little dredger that's down below. We now have an open hours, Thursdays 4 to 8 and Saturdays 1 to 5. We also do school groups, senior groups, camp groups by appointment.
It's an extraordinary place. It's like a cabinet of curiosities.
Most everything here has been acquired through somebody liking what we're doing and saying, you know, we have something that we think that would be really nice to showcase at your museum.
We're here on the Red Hook waterfront at Steve's Authentic Key Lime Pies, which is one of Caitlin's absolute favorite places in the city. Is there anything in here that isn't a key lime pie?
They have chocolate-covered frozen ones.
Why don't we go have one?
I think we should.
I'm here with the manager, Samantha. First of all, what makes Steve's key lime pies so authentic?
We use fresh key lime juice. There's no real secret recipe. We make pies for restaurants and grocery stores in the area, anywhere from a few dozen to a few hundred.
This is so exciting for me as a key lime pie fan.
I guess the most important part is our key limes. The ideal key lime is sort of a yellowish, more yellow than green. This is our juicer. We make 4 different sizes of crust. Half the people don't even know what we're doing here, and they're very confused when they walk in, like, what goes on here? How on earth could you just make one thing? So they're sort of befuddled by the whole experience.
I'm standing outside of Baked, a bakery on Van Brunt Street. Van Brunt Street is the main street in Red Hook. You have your coffee shop, you've got your restaurants, your boutiques, where all the locals hang out. Baked is known for their cupcakes, cookies, and all sorts of other treats. The salted caramel bar. That looks amazing. I'm here with Renato, one of the owners of Baked. This is a place that I really love.
Well, thank
We
you.
have desserts that are kind of addictive. Can you tell me a little bit about what we have here?
Well, this is a very small sampling of what we usually offer. We have a lemon drop cupcake, which is one of our most popular flavors. It's a white cake with a lemon curd filling and a vanilla buttercream. This is one of my favorite flavors. It's called Bananas. It's a banana cake with a peanut butter filling and then a milk chocolate ganache on top.
We're here at Defiance, which is a great cocktail bar on Van Brunt Street. The owner happens to be an expert mixologist. What are you making here?
This is a drink that we used to have on the menu called the King Bee, with a vodka that's made in Westchester, New York, from pure honey. Oh, what a nice, yeah.
Do you have a favorite cocktail on your menu?
You know, it's like trying to pick a favorite child, man. It's impossible.
But it's pretty serious drinks you have.
Yeah, drinks are serious, but that's why on the menu you'll see a lot of dates, because I like to tell people where the drink was invented if I can. I'm gonna shake, this is gonna get loud.
Okay.
We are never trying to invent something new, but always trying to find a drink that's been forgotten in the past and bring that back.
Red Hook isn't all about food and drink. One of the neighborhood's most interesting places to shop is the Brooklyn Collective on Columbia Street, an unusual cross between a studio space and a store, where artisans and designers can showcase their work, help shape the space, and of course sell their creations.
I'm here with Sohi, the owner of The Good Fork on Van Brunt Street. What inspired the name The Good Fork?
There was something about a phrase that my father-in-law used. He used a term one time called buono forchetta. And I asked him what that meant, and it translated to the good fork. Someone who is a good fork means that, you know, they enjoy life and that they love food.
And how did you develop the menu? I noticed it seems like there's some Korean influences, some Asian influences, but also a lot of local produce. I know you say on the menu you get it from the local added value farm.
When we set out to open this restaurant, a lot of people were curious, well, what kind of restaurant is it? And we had a hard time actually describing it. I think Zagats call us, you know, eclectic, seasonal, new American or something like that. I like the word globe-trotting rather than fusion because that's not what it is. So we have handmade pastas and with strictly Italian essence and flavors, and we do homemade stocks and sauces, very much the French way. And the fact that we have this great farm in the neighborhood called Added Value is just a plus for us, you know. I wasn't sure how the public would perceive the menu, but I think it offers something for everybody.
We're here at the Red Hook Community Farm, where restaurants like the Good Fork get their produce. We're here with Kristen, the manager of the farm.
It's pretty unusual to find a farm like this in a huge city like this. Tell us a little about what you actually grow here.
So we grow tomatoes and okra and melons and garlic and herbs, as you see behind us. These are our perennial herbs. This trellis system is for our peas.
How high do they really get that high?
Yeah, they'll get taller than me, actually. And we also have a farmer's market, which happens on this farm. In the greenhouse is where we propagate most of our seedlings. About half to 3/4 of what we plant on the farm is started in the greenhouse. In that greenhouse, there would eventually be maybe 11,000 pounds of food.
And is there something you grow here that's your personal favorite?
The peas are my favorite. When the peas come up, I'm in pea heaven. I love it.
So these are our babies. See how fresh they are, see how lively they are.
We had no idea there was such a craving in this area for fresh-caught Maine lobster.
These are wild-caught Maine lobsters. It should probably weigh about 1.75 pounds, 1.5 pounds.
So how many are in these tanks?
Right now, there's probably about 200 pounds in this tank. Like on Memorial Day, I will probably have 800 or 900 pounds.
It's a lot of lobster.
It's a lot of lobster.
So tell us a bit about the lobster rolls themselves, because they've gotten a lot of press.
We serve them two ways. One way is what we call the Connecticut style, which is just lobster and butter. And then we serve the traditional Maine style, which is fresh lobster meat and mayonnaise. I'm crazy about quality. Even though it's simple, I think that's what sets us apart.
After you've spent the day wandering around Van Brunt Street, checking out the Waterfront Museum, maybe having a couple of treats at Baked, you can walk them off by trying to walk over to this restaurant, Alma. It's a Mexican restaurant with a gorgeous view of the New York waterfront. I'm here with Hans, the chef. What are your favorite things to make here?
My personal favorite dish is the stuffed poblano pepper that we do. It's braised short ribs. It's blended with smoked Gouda cheese. We serve that over a yellow mole sauce. And we have really great fish tacos on the menu as appetizers. They're really great in the summertime. Have a margarita, you sit on the rooftop, you overlook the whole water. Once you get here and you're on the roof, it's sort of a whole adventure.
I know a lot of New Yorkers say that there's no great Mexican food in New York. What would you say to that?
They probably haven't been here yet.
Talking to Red Hook small business owners really gives you the small town interconnected vibe. A woman who works at the Lobster Pound used to bartend at the Mexican restaurant Alma. The guy who owns the cocktail lounge Fort Defiance used to rent an apartment from the owners of the restaurant a few doors down.
I love the sense of community Red Hook has. It's very small, you know, it has some advantages that it was cut off from the rest of Brooklyn, and it kind of retained this small neighborhood feel that is really, you know, kind of hard to find these days.
Once you're here, it's hard not to see the appeal of a place in New York oriented not to the subway, but towards the sea.